outside.
Okay. Hello everyone. Hi. I'd like to welcome you all to our beautiful city of Ljubljana, which is the capital of Slovenia. The only country in the world that has word love in it. Okay, we'll obviously have to work on enthusiasm because this isn't going anywhere.
Meet Maribor, a full-time traveler and digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. This is the Radio Vagabond.
My name is Peter. I'm going to be your guide for today. I'm also a local living here nearby. So if you have any questions regarding life in Ljubljana, life in Slovenia in general, feel free to ask. Okay? It will take us all the way through the old city center and we will finish in a square here nearby, which is 2 minutes away from here. It's a small city. You cannot get lost.
Okay, now I'm in Slovenia, in the capital, Ljubljana, and I've just started a free walking tour of Ljubljana. It's always a good way to learn something about the country and the city you're in, and they are all over the world. And I was specially recommended to go on this one by somebody I met yesterday, the free walking tour of Ljubljana.
Yeah? Tired? You should be. Look at the walk that we just did. Told you Ljubljana was a big city. Actually, this is how our tour is going to look like, just so we know, okay? Now, this bridge that we are standing on right now is actually our most well-known site here in Ljubljana, our triple bridge. Probably most of you have seen it on some postcards or flyers about Ljubljana or online, or that is just my imagination.
Ljubljana is a very small capital. Only around 300,000 people live here. Makes it one of the smallest capitals in Europe, maybe even the world. But it's a very, very nice and cozy little city. The center where I'm doing the walking tour right now is completely without cars, and along the river there are so many restaurants and bars and a beautiful Sunday afternoon here. Slovenia was the first of the ex-Yugoslavian countries that got their own independence. They did that before the war broke out. They got their independence in 1991, and in 2004 they became a member of the EU, and now they have the euro here, and it's part of the Schengen countries, and it is in the northern part of ex-Yugoslavia, close to Italy and Austria.
This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. Whenever you need a hotel anywhere in the world, go to Hotels25.com. That would get you the best price. Hotels25.com searches a bunch of the biggest hotel sites in one simple search. Hotels25.com.
And now, facts about where we are.
As you might have heard the tour guide say before, Slovenia is the only country in the world with love in its name. And the capital, Ljubljana, actually translates to the loved one. Slovenians love bees. Yeah, bees. There are around 90,000 beekeepers in this country with a population of just around 2 million. That is 1 in 20 people. It is tiny. Slovenia covers less than 0.004% of the surface of this planet and has a population of just over 2 million. The capital, Ljubljana, and the largest city is also small. Less than 300,000 people live here. It's one of the most environmentally friendly nations, according to the Environmental Performance Index. This index is reflecting whether they're meeting the international established environmental targets. Only 4 nations are better, according to this index: Finland, Iceland, Sweden, and Denmark. A remarkable 53.6% of Slovenia is protected land, a higher percentage than any nation on earth except for Venezuela. With more than half of its total areas covered in forest, Slovenia is really one of the greenest countries in the world. And Ljubljana was awarded Europe's greenest capital in 2016. And more than 500 brown bears roam the Slovenian forests. Slovenians are tall, old, and like wine. Yeah, Slovenia is one of the 10 tallest countries on the planet. A typical male measures 1.8 meters, 5.9 feet, and is one of the 10 most elderly nations, with residents being 43.5 years on average. And the thing about wine, there is one winery or vineyard for every 70 to 75 people in this country. And in Maribor, the second biggest city in Slovenia, they have the world's oldest wine. It's 400 years old. And Slovenians love wine themselves. They are the 6th biggest consumers of wine per capita. Slovenia has a tiny, tiny coastline, just 46 kilometers, 30 miles. You can spend a night in jail in Ljubljana without doing a crime. Hostel Celica is an actual prison where the cells have been renovated into rooms, but still have the same appearance as a prison cell. And finally, Slovenia has the world's largest ski jump. Planica is an epic place for ski lovers, especially if you like heights. The ski jump here is legendary, and many world records have been set here.
And that was facts about where we are.
Now it's time to meet my good Slovenian friend, Saso Papp. He's got an online company that sells wine, not only to Slovenians, but to the rest of Europe and technically to the rest of the world. And actually, it's kind of funny that the rest of the Balkans, they drink rakia like crazy. But in Slovenia, you love wine so much more. Something I talked about in the fun facts section earlier in this episode. Is it really true that there is one winery or vineyard for every 70 to 75 people in Slovenia?
Well, I'm not sure who counted this or who calculated this, but I know so many people that have vineyards. Unfortunately, I'm not the one. I mean, we have a little bit of a couple of vines. I wouldn't say this is a vineyard, but we have something, our kind of, family place where my grandfather was born. But yeah, I mean, we have so many wine or grape growers. So, it's... The problem is that, of course, because if you have so many vineyards, also wine can be really, really bad if you're not careful. Everybody makes his own rakia in the Balkans, and almost everyone, makes his own wine.
Everyone
here.
who has a basement, they have a rakia place.
Yeah, and here in Slovenia, you have everyone has kind of some kind of wine in the cellar. Well, I'm exaggerating, of course, but yeah, we have a lot of vineyards, and comparing to some other countries, and the population of Slovenia, as you know, is only 2 million.
Oh, yeah.
We have around 30,000 wine growers.
Yeah.
30,000 and 3,000 professional makers of wine that are bottling wine, and we have over 200 winemakers that make sparkling wine, which is, for such a small place, it's just crazy.
Yeah, is the climate perfect for wine producing? Because you're a little bit more north than some wine producers.
If you look at the France top regions, you will see that we are almost here.
Oh, okay.
It's really nice. But most of the time also with the producing wine, it's also microclimate. And we have a perfect climate. On one side, as you know, Slovenia has the border with Italy and with sea, so it's much hotter on the west. And on the east, where I live in Maribor, which is the second biggest town, really east of Slovenia. We make really good, fresh, crisp wines. Not that much, not that many reds, but really good white wines.
Yeah, and you, I hear that you also do the oldest wine, or you have the oldest wine in Maribor.
Yes, we have the oldest vine. It's a Guinness Book of Records, more than 400 years old vine that was discovered not a long time ago. It was just some vine somewhere in the old part of the city that was kind of forgotten. And then when I renovated it, they found out this vine that was, just there. and then somebody was, trying to find out how old it is. And then they did some carbon, some tests and stuff. And it's actually the oldest vine that still produces grapes.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I didn't bring you on only to talk about wine, even though it's super interesting and something I could talk about for a long time. And I'd like to circle back to it. I'd like to circle back to what it is that you do now in just a minute. But before that, I just want to introduce you a little bit more, and then we'll come back to talk about Slovenia, because you and I, we know each other from the radio industry. We met each other many, many times at radio conferences, mostly around Europe, and we become good friends through our love for radio. I just realized how much we actually have in common, and I have a few points for you here. You've been a group program director, where you programmed 17 radio stations.
True.
I haven't done that, but I'm a co-founder and co-owner of a group of radio stations that run 17 radio stations. That's one point.
Okay.
You quit quite a good job in the radio industry because you got tired of working for an idiot. I can say the exact same thing. I didn't quit radio, but I quit a good job and started my own. You've been a part of a successful morning show. So have I, even though that the station that you were on was a national commercial radio station fighting with a station that you actually helped create.
Yes.
Both of us have left the life in a radio studio doing day to day, but we both do voiceovers, we both consult radio stations, and we both do podcasts, all because this passion for radio and podcasts never dies. Does that sound about right?
Oh yes, it does. And there's another thing I believe we have in common.
We're both old farts.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Speak for yourself, Bella.
And we are both divorced.
Oh yeah. But me twice.
Okay, then you win. For now.
Yeah. What happened after you left that morning show in 2013? Your life took a change there.
I was after almost 8 years of working on this radio station.
Getting up early every morning?
Oh yes. Oh my God. I did morning shows for more than 15 years. So, yeah, 8 and 7 years, something like that. I totally went out of the radio for maybe half a year, or not even that, because I soon were contacted with from one of my colleagues that we worked together a couple of years ago back. And he was like, "Oh, I'm helping this radio station here in Slovenia. Would you help us?" And I was like, "No, I just, I don't want to consult for now." But then it was just such a great opportunity, and I have to be honest, a well-paid job that, I had a great fun working with that radio station and setting everything up. Setting up new morning stations. So I was working 4 days or 5 days per month for them. And the rest I was working on my new business, which was mobile apps for radio stations. I was actually not coding myself, but I had a partner company that was doing this. But it was my idea, and it was my my show, my company. I was the idiot that I worked for.
You became the idiot.
Yeah.
At what time did you? Now I'm circling back to the wine, just briefly, because then you started Vinoo, VINOO.co.
True. I thought, who are the great people that I love working with? So I had a couple of wine-making friends, and I was like, winemakers. They don't even have mobile optimized websites. What if I, approach them, and what if I try to help them in, digital marketing or, working in the digital world? Because Slovenian wine is great. I didn't have a clue at that time. This was like about 4 years now, that Slovenian wine is that good, and that, a lot of people that come here as tourists, or if they are introduced to Slovenian wine somewhere in a restaurant or by friends, they go nuts. They are searching, so yeah, I just decided, let's try this. It's a great fun. I love it, and I love helping winemaking community here. And we are going also to Croatia, Hungary, Austria, Italy very soon. So we are onboarding also Croatian winemakers at the moment as we speak.
I will put a link on the website and in the show notes for your web shop, and people can go and take a look. I was looking at it, and I got thirsty. Yeah.
Can we also do a kind of special discount for your listeners?
That would be interesting.
Okay, check the show notes. Yeah.
Yes, go to theradiovagabond.com and find the promo code for you to get 15% off and free shipping all over Europe if you buy 6 bottles or more from the same winemaker. Actually, it's super easy. Just go to vinoo.co, that's vinoo.co, and use the promo code RadioVagabond15 to get the 15% discount and free shipping. We'll be back with more Saso in a few minutes.
It's Tuesday morning in Ljubljana in Slovenia, and I am walking towards a radio station. They've asked to do an interview with me. Actually, it's the first of 2 interviews I'm doing today. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. But it is going to be a quiet day. I need to get up really early tomorrow morning. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting into a taxi and driving towards the airport in order to catch my early morning flight to my next destination. But right now, I'm nearly at the radio station. Here it is. Hello. I'm here to see Maya from Val 202. Palabo from Denmark.
Just Maya.
Maya. Yeah. Thank you.
Travel is possible at any age. Your sense of adventure is just over the horizon. So, reach out and grab it. This is the Radio Vagabond. Gotta keep moving.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Maya.
Hi, Maya.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Palebo?
Yeah,
Palebo?
close enough.
How should I pronounce it?
Palabo.
Palebo.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but it's not.
In the afternoon that day, I meet up with the journalist Janis Osinik from the national TV station 24 Ur.
No, yeah, that's right. I'm literally homeless. I'm homeless by choice. I don't have an address anywhere right now. Slovenia is my address.
We do the interview in the street, and it was kind of funny seeing myself on national TV that same night.
Še pred nekaj leti je bil Palebo tipičen evropejec srednjih let. Službo, hišo in avtomobilom. Razvezan na vseeno skrben oče. A potem se je nekaj spremenilo.
I'm homeless by choice. I don't have an address anywhere right now. Slovenia is my address.
Ko je bil na službenem potovanju, je ugotovil, kako se je svet spremenil.
You can see the entire interview on theradiovagabond.com. When I stepped on the plane the next morning, the guy in the seat next to me looked at me a few times and then said, "Aren't you the homeless guy I saw on TV last night?" How weird is that, getting recognized by a random stranger?
You can see pictures, videos, and links and read much more on theradiovagabond.com.
We're back with Saso Papp. And Saso, when Slovenia broke out of Yugoslavia, you were 20 years old or something like that. What was it like growing up in Yugoslavia?
Oh, that's a long time ago, Pale. I was traveling around Cuba 6 or 7 years ago with my Anna, my life partner. She is 10 years younger than me. So she was born in 1982. I was born in 1971. And she was really small when we were getting independent, like 9 years after she was born. And I was 19, 20 at that time.
Yeah.
And we experienced Cuba totally different. I still could remember the shops being, empty shelves. And we had to go, and we were privileged at that time, basically, because we were allowed to go to Austria over the border to buy rice, bananas, chocolate, coffee. Oh, coffee was a big business at that time. A lot of people were, let's say, smuggling coffee at that time into Slovenia and then down to the Balkans. Because that's something that we were missing at that time.
No. Tell me a little bit about the transition, because obviously you were technically a grown-up around 20 years old, 19, 20 years old. What was it like during the transition where you got your independence?
Pale, in Slovenia, we were really lucky. We just had a couple of fights. Croatia and the rest, the Bosnia and Herzegovina, and this was a mess.
Oh, yeah.
But after 10 days of kind of a little fighting, then Yugoslav army decided to move out. Funny story, really short. I was at the Yugoslav army at that time. I was serving 1 year at that time. Fortunately, nothing serious happened. It was just kind of some really strange thing going on. But after a lot of bad things were going on when we decided to be independent. More in the financial sense, because Slovenia was producing a lot of goods for the whole market of Yugoslavia. Especially Maribor, where I live, it was a big factory of trucks and buses, also for the army. A lot of stuff, a lot of trucks were produced here. So like maybe 1/4, I'm guessing 1/4 of the town was, living out of this industry. And there was a textile industry also here.
Yeah.
And everything collapsed, like everything died basically. So we had to find a new way, new markets. And we had a big unemployment rate in the early 90s because of this. So, but we survived.
And as far as I can understand, you're the one country of the ex-Yugoslavia that is doing best financially. Yeah. And some of the other regions and the other countries are struggling very much. Yeah. And
True.
You made it into the EU, so did Croatia, but you're doing quite well.
Yeah, but we were. You have to know that we were always the top, let's say, country with having more GDP in ex-Yugoslavia. So this was just, like a normal process. And we were, of course, as you mentioned, we were the first to be in EU. I always say two things which might be interesting for the listeners to hear. One thing is, we as Slovenians, we always thought we were the best in ex-Yugoslavia. So we have this saying that, you are the best in the village. And then now with EU, we are like, not the best in the village, but the worst in the city. But we still believe we are something special, and we are not.
No.
That's one thing that I like to say, explain kind of our mentality, our point of view.
Yeah, I heard somebody say actually what we talked about in the first segment was that they all drink rakia. No, we'll have a glass of wine.
Yes,
we're more
of
sophisticated
course.
here.
Of course, yes, of course. We are the Northern Balkans or the Southern Europeans, you know. And that's one thing. And the other thing is, like, we know how to work. We are hard workers. But as it seems, we don't know how to sell and how to manage companies. So that's something that probably comes from the history, right? From the communism.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the invitation. It was great seeing you, great talking to you, and cheers.
Cheers, Saso. Good to see you.
You are listening to the Radio Vagabond, your guide to taking that first step towards living a more fulfilling and adventurous life. If Palebo can do it, why can't you?
If you're into street art, you should definitely visit Metelkova Art Center, also known as Metelkova Mestro. It's an alternative culture center in Ljubljana. It's developed from a squat in a former army barracks and is now one of the best-known attractions in Ljubljana. You can see a lot of creative graffiti and art on the walls and on the ground in this area. It's home to a large number of clubs, hosting concerts, club nights and one-off club events featuring underground artists and DJs from around the world. The center also hosts art performances, exhibitions and a festival from time to time. The history of Metelkova Mestro as a cultural center goes back to 1993, when the northern part of the barracks complex was squatted by a group of about 200 volunteers. The initiative came from an independent association of mainly underground artists and intellectuals known as Metelkova Network to stop the abandoned army complex from being pulled down. Being a thriving place for a free, creative spirit, the complex is undergoing constant change. I'm here on a quiet afternoon, but still, it was a very interesting place to visit, and a must-see if you're in Ljubljana. I've taken a lot of pictures of the street art that you can find on the radiovagabond.com, but not the people. There's a sign saying, no photos of people, it's not a zoo. So remember to respect that when you go.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to the White House. As a mother and as First Lady, it concerns me that in today's...
It's kind of funny, I'm sitting here packing my bags and getting ready to leave tomorrow morning, and Melania Trump is on the TV from the White House, and she's here from Slovenia. When I went on the walking tour the other day, the guide said, yes, Donald Trump's wife is from Slovenia, and has it brought us more tourists? Not really. But she is his wife. Well, at least while I'm here, you never know. He has a habit of making some changes from time to time. But this is what I'm watching. As I'm packing my bags, I'm getting ready to leave Slovenia tomorrow morning. And then I'm going on to my next destination. And I'm so looking forward to that. See ya.
Produced by radioguru.co.uk.